Madam, good evening, madam.
Sir, good evening, sir. Sir, good evening, sir.
So good evening, madam. So thank you so much to accept our invitation. Thank you.
Sir, is it audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Clear?
Yes, ma'am, audible.
Okay, thank you. Good evening,
Ma'am,
Thiago,
Tyagu
sir.
sir
Good
also
evening,
there,
sir.
ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Thiago, sir. Nice to meet you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am, for accepting our invitation. Sir. Thank you so much. Rajkumar, shall we begin?
Okay, now. Now, if you want to say something about the program,
You can start. You can start. Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Once again, I welcome you all for the free UGC NET and SET training class on the Remembrance of Dr. R. Viswanathan. So this is day 7, and yesterday we had a mock test 1, and 488 participants were participated in the test, and really we very much happy for your expressing your interest for attempting the mock test. And this is day 7. We have another one resource person, Dr. M. Kalaivani, and today she is going to talk about the Unit 9, people and development of environment. So Dr. M. Kalaivani, working as an assistant professor in biological science at Lakshmi College of Education, Govt.Aided, Gandhigram. She holds the degrees MSc, MEd, MPhil education, postgraduate diploma, and Gandhian Thought, PhD in education, and also she has cracked a UGC NET examination. And her specialization are biological science, educational psychology, educational technology, environmental education. She had 10 years experience in the field of teacher education as well as in the school education. Also, she has guided 2 MPhil candidate. One was awarded and another one is going on. She has contributed 1 books and national level journal 28. She was a life member of Indian Society for Education and Allied Sciences and life member for Tamil Nadu Career Counselor Association. And also she has awarded Best Professor Award from Red Pond Society, Madurai, received Rajiv Gandhi National Fellowship for PhD program, and she has sponsored a project, Initiative Women in Development, Chennai, and she has organized and participated many workshop and conferences. So totally she was acted as a resource person for many programs, and her academic excellence and academic achievements are MEd's gold medal at Mother Teresa University, Kodaikanal, MSc gold medalist as the American College, Madurai. Madam has a lot of exposures in the field of education, and she was a noteworthy assistant professor in the field of biological science with a wealth of knowledge and experience, committed to providing exciting and effective education and incorporate the lessons on the subjects in their teachings and techniques. Above all, she is a dedicated and modeling exceptional leader who will be capable of solving scientific and environmental problems in the futures. Ma'am, on the behalf of organizing team, we thank you for your acceptance to be a part of this UGC NET and SET training classes. I hand over the session to Dr. M. Kalaivani.
Very good evening to one and all present here. I'm really overwhelmed to be as a part of this program. And thank you, sir, Tiago sir, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be as a resource person on this very good academic platform. And it is a great initiative that we are conducting this program on the remembrance of Dr. R. Viswanathan. Always, Tiago sir, right from more than 10 years, I was being traveling with Tiago sir, and he is a very kind personality and very helping personality. So it is a great initiative. I am looking as a great initiative that goes to that goes to give life for many people, because without net cracking without net we cannot imagine even for enrolling as a PhD scholar in any of one of the universities. So here the system is becoming more hard and harder, and we are no other go, we have to fit ourselves into our system. So I'm very happy and a very warm good evening to all the participants. Hope I will cover some of the glimpses of this unit, the unit number 9, which is given to me, people, development, and environment. So let me present my presentation. Let me present my screen now. Is it my slide is visible? Anyone of the audience?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So in paper 1, I'm going to deal with the unit number 9, which deals with people, development, and environment, which is very, very important topic than cracking a net, I think. Because today we are facing so many environmental issues which threatens the livelihood of humans in future. So many projects, if we write projects regarding any environmental issues to find a solution for environmental issues, immediately we will get funds from many funding agencies. Now the environment is highly polluted because of human activity, and we are experiencing the changes in the environment. Even the summer, the last month, from last month, we are feeling the warmness of our climate. Yes or no? So today we are talking about the terms called global warming, climate mitigation, pollution, and these are some of the words which threatens the life of human beings. So let me get into the unit. So here, this unit covers about what is environment, what kind of a sustainable developmental goals and the millennium development that we have to bring out to save this environment. And it also talks about the interaction between the human and the environment. So it is by nature that no one can be independent. We are all interdependent. So here we cannot separate ourselves from the environment, because all the basic things that human as well as all the other organisms derive only from the environment. So the main basic, if you see, the main basic need of a human or the other living organism is the food, water, and shelter. So how all these are attained by the human as well as the other living organisms. It is only from the environment, which is the greatest gift that God gives for us, given for us. So here we will be talking about the anthropogenic activities. Here anthropogenic activities refers to the human activities. What are the human activities has made an impact on the environment and created a great problem in the livelihood of human and the other living organisms. And this unit will talk about the environmental issues at the local level as well as the regional level and the global level. Like the terms that is given in the unit as air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, noise pollution, waste hazard, climate change. All these are the words. It is spoken at the local level, regional level, as well as the global level. It is not the issue for our village, or it is not the issue for our state or our country. It is happening across the globe. Everywhere humans are facing all these kind of problems, environmental issues. It is all because of the development of science and technology and the over exploitation of the natural resources we are facing such kind of environmental issues today. And then what kind of an impact that creates because of the pollutants on the human health. So we are facing so many number of health issues problem because of this environmental issues. And then this unit talks about the natural and the energy resources. And we know resources, natural resources are the resources which are occur in nature. That is from sun, wind, all the soil, water, even the geothermal. Geothermal refers to the thermal energy that is being naturally present in the earth. That is like a volcanic eruptions. Those in those places we can build up geothermal plants where we can generate electricity. And then biomass, nuclear and forest resources. All these resources are very, very essential for the sustainable development of all living organisms. And then this unit talks about natural hazards and disaster management, how all these can be mitigated, how it can be overcome, and what are the strategies that we can follow to overcome all these natural hazards and disasters. And then what are the acts that is being given, that has been enacted in order to protect this environment, and what are the conferences that has been that has been organized in order to overcome all the environmental issues. So this is what all about our unit 9, which deals about the people, development and environment. So I have planned my session as covering all the components of this unit in in an objective type. Okay, so I thought I can go with some of the important areas, how the question will appear in the question paper, how, what are the important questions that are asked several times. So I have planned in that way, and we will move on to that. Let me ask the first question. Wait a minute. Let me connect in another device also so that I can see your. I can see your chat. Okay, you can give your answers in the chat box so that in side by side I can see the messages also. So let me start with the first question. Here the question is given as in a match the following format, that set 1 is given and set 2 is given. In set 1 it is given as troposphere, exosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere. So can you know what all these terms are? We might have familiar about these terms, yes or no? So it is all the layers of the atmosphere. It is all the layers of the atmosphere. Atmosphere, sphere refers to the layer, atmos refers to the air. So it is the atmosphere, it is above the land surface. So those areas is called as atmosphere. The atmosphere has been classified into 5 layers. Out of the 5 layers, there are 4 main layers are there, excluding the exosphere. So here in one column, the different layers are listed out, and in the second column, the distance of each layer or the thickness of each layer was given. So if a question is asked like this, so first thing, what we have to do, how you will arrive the answer. So here it is given, it is asked us to match the correct options from set 1 to set 2. So anybody have a right answer for this question? Can you please? You can put your answer in the D.
Option D.
Yes. You are right. The answer is D. Here the Earth's atmosphere, as I told you, the Earth's atmosphere is classified into, it is divided into 5 major main layers. So excluding this exosphere, we have 4 main primary layers which are called as troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere and thermosphere. This is the order of the layer that is present in uh, the atmosphere. Right from the lowermost layer is the troposphere. The next to the troposphere is the stratosphere. Next to stratosphere is the mesosphere, and the next to mesosphere is the thermosphere, and the last layer is the exosphere. So if we arrive the right order of the layers, we can easily identify the answer. So troposphere is the lowest layer, so it will start from 0 to 12. So next to troposphere is the stratosphere. That way it is 12 to 50. So likewise, it is moving on in the ascending order. Yes or no? So from smallest to largest number. So in that way, we can click the answer for this question. So let me move on to the next question. Thank you for answering the question. Let me move on to the next question. Which among the following natural hazards has relatively slow onset? So before you answer me, let me give a input about this natural hazards. So natural hazards are nothing but they are disasters which are occurred naturally. So naturally occurring disasters are called as natural hazards. So here the listed options are all are natural disasters. And the question, what the question is asked is, the natural disasters or the hazard has relatively slow onset, which occurs very slowly, which occurs very slowly. The time consumption taken by the disaster, which among all the four, which takes much time, or which progress in a slower manner. That is the question it is asked. So Kalaivani, Loyola, you have answered right. The option is B, because we all know that this slow onset is drought. So other than drought, infestations and disease epidemics or also comes under this category because it takes months or years to develop. It is not a sudden outbreak. So other volcanic eruptions, wildfires, that is forest fires, landslides, it is all a sudden outbreak of the sudden outbreak in the nature, occurred in the nature. Whereas drought is a dry condition. Drought refers to dry condition, which is also a disaster, which also a disaster. If the land becomes drought, what will happen? Naturally, we are not able to cultivate any vegetation. So it leads to poverty, it leads to decrease in the food production, thereby food famine will occur. Is there no food famine will occur? So this is the second question. Let me move on to the third question. Biomass fuel has the potential to form a sustainable carbon neutral energy source because the reasons are given below. So which produce carbon dioxide and combustion as much as they consume when they grow. It produces less amount of carbon dioxide on combustion when compared to the amount they use during their growth. Have carbon content same as fossil fuels. Do not produce hazardous emissions on combustion. So what will be the right answer? So we all know biomass refers to, it is the waste generated from the living organism. So a waste of a living organism is called as a biomass. So out of the living organism, the waste of the living organism, we can able to produce fuels. We can also generate electricity. You might have also heard about Bavankali village. Bavankali village, which is in Hyderabad. Now it has been partitioned and it is been referred as Telangana. It is located in Telangana. Bavankali village, which is the largest market Bhavanbali market in Bhavanbali village, which is the largest market in Telangana, has produced nearly 100 tons of wastage, vegetable wastage. The unused vegetables and the spoiled vegetables generated in the market is around 100 tons of waste are being generated. People in that have a novel idea in using all these vegetable waste to convert them into a electric power production. They are using it for biogas production as well as for generating electricity, and it is also specified that the electricity that is being generated from the as well as the market, the entire market buildings, for entire market buildings, and as well as for the street lights. They are using it for the street lights, and the biogas that is also produced is it is being used for cooking purposes. So this is what this biomass fuel is. So now tell me this carbon neutral energy. So carbon neutral energy refers to, it is a stable compound. The sustainable carbon neutral energy. Why we are saying is sustainable carbon neutral energy is, here the carbon compound will be stable. That way it has been given as sustainable carbon neutral energy. So here this biomass fuels which are produced has a potential that to form a sustainable carbon neutral energy. Why? Because option A is the right answer, because it produces carbon dioxide on combustion as much as they consume when they grow. So when they grow, the carbon dioxide produced that is produced in the growing tree or released to the atmosphere by the growing tree is also carbon neutral. It is also a carbon neutral energy. When you combust means when you burn the biomass, the carbon dioxide that is released into the atmosphere will have the property exact to the carbon dioxide released by a live tree or a growing tree. So it is also specified by the EPA, that is Environmental Protection Agency. They have identified and they have suggested that this greenhouse, we all know that carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. So this greenhouse gas, which is released out of the combustion of biomass fuel, is equal to the carbon dioxide released by a growing tree. The carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas, but this carbon dioxide is a carbon neutral energy. So it does not bring much impact to the environment. So the carbon dioxide released by the growing tree will not bring much impact to the environment. In same way, when we burn the biomass, the property of the carbon dioxide is similar. Next one is again a match the following is given. Here in set 1, the terms given as soot, fly ash, dust, particulate matter. So what will be the answer? What is soot? What is fly ash? What is dust? What is particulate matter? Answer C is the right answer. Soot. What is actually a soot? A soot is a deep black powdery substance which has largely amorphous carbon. So amorphous refers to indefinite shape. It does not have any shape, a shapeless. The carbon compound is a shapeless. It does not have a definite shape. It's amorphous carbon which is produced by the incomplete burning of organic matter. It is considered to be the second largest contributor to global warming. So we all know what is global warming. Because of the greenhouse effect, the consequent effect of greenhouse will be global warming. So that what will happen? the the atmosphere gets heated up because of extreme warmth. The icebergs will melt, and it will the sea level will rises, and all the land areas will submerge into the sea. This is what global warming is. So here, the soot is a term. It is a black powdery substance, a deep black powdery substance. That means it will be a dark black in color. It's a powdery substance. So when it is produced, it is produced by the incomplete burning of organic matter. That is not, it is not completely burned. When it is released out from an incomplete burning of the organic matter, and it is been considered to be the second largest contributor to the global warming. Second thing is fly ash. So fly ash is nothing but it is a fine solid particles of ashes, dust and soot carried out from burning fuel by the draft in the sense by the wind. So here, when you burn the fuel such as coal or oil, so it releases a fine solid particles. So here the fly ash, it includes ashes, dust and soot. And dust is a fine dry powder consisting of tiny particles of earth or waste matter lying on the ground or on surfaces or carried in the air. So you can also see on the highways, yes or no? So in the highway areas, we have planted many xerophatic plants like nerium plants. That in Tamil we say
Aralipu.
what is
Aralipu.
that?
Aral.
Arlichiri, yes, right, Arlipu. So if you see all the plants which are near the highways where many vehicles move around, you can see the deposition of the dust on the surface of the leaves, yes or no? Leaves and even the buildings very closer to the high traffic areas is easily get dusted because of the uh, because of the release of the automobiles as well as the dust particles. When the vehicles move in a high speed, the dust particles that have been raised from the ground is all deposited on the leaves. So this is dust, all about dust. Next one is particulate matter. So particulate matter is the sum of all the solids and liquid particles suspended in air. Many of them which are hazardous. Hazardous means very dangerous. This is a complex mixture which includes both organic and inorganic particles, which is a composition of the dust, pollen, soot, smoke, and liquid droplets. So it is all together. We call it as a particulate matter. So these are some of the pollutants which causes pollution, air pollution. Next, some of the questions will be like this. They will give a statement and they will give a reason for the statement, and they will ask whether the statement is right for the right or the reason is right for the statement, like that. So here the question is given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertion A and the other is labeled as reason. See, in assertion A, as per the UN Sustainable Developmental Goals pledge to leave no one behind and to end poverty and protect the planet by arranging more financial assistance. So today we are talking about this term sustainable SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. So sustainable development means what? It is sustainable development is nothing but we need to leave the environment as a safe environment, safe and clean environment to the next future generation. So we have to maintain the natural property of the environment. So here the UN has taken a pledge that leave no one behind. That is, we are not supposed to think about our own livelihood. We have to think about our future life, future generations. So our own children, our own grandchildren is going to suffer. Already we are suffering a lot because of these environmental issues, and we are feeling and we are facing all the complexities in the environment. Think about the future generation. So the main sustainable goal pledge as per UN is leave no one behind and to end poverty and protect the planet. So our Earth is a very beautiful planet because only Earth has life. The all other planets does not suit for life. So we might have heard about many researches are going on in the other planets like Venus and things like that. So the major research that are going on in the other planets is to identify what are the minerals that are available in those planets. But so far, no planet has identified the water. So the planet, the Earth, is the only planet which has water. And as per evolution, as evolution says that life has originated only in the aquatic body. So life has originated only in the aquatic body. You might have studied about the evolution of plants. So if you see, the lowermost plant is the algae. So the algae is a water, it is an aquatic plant, aquatic primitive plant. So life was started only from water. So such a beautiful planet our Earth is. So here we are we need to protect our planet. So the other planets they don't have water. There is no. It is not suited for life. And why the researches are going on is to identify what kind of the minerals are present in the planet, so that we can bring all those minerals and we can use it for our livelihood purpose. And here the reason is SDGs are legally binded to any nation. So here option A, B, no, it is option C. So here the statement is right, but the reason that is given is wrong. So as per the UN SDG as or pledge to leave no one behind while devising modes to arrange financial assistance for nations in their fight to end poverty and protect the planet. It further acts to bring peace and prosperity for all. However, SDS are not legally binding to any nation, but they provide clear policy framework and emphasize upon effective implementation. So, what's the reason is given? It is not legally binded to any nation. So, it is being provided as a policy framework, and it is being suggested by the UN to take pledge that we have to maintain this planet Earth for a sustainable for the sustainable future generations. Next, yeah, hope spot. You might have heard about hot spots. Yes or no? So, what is the hope spot? Hotspot is nothing but it is a place which is rich in biodiversity. We call those spots are called as hotspots. Then what is hope spot? What is a hope spot? Yes. A hope spot is an area under the ocean which requires special attention because of its rich biodiversity. So we are when we talk about biodiversity, the term biodiversity, immediately that comes in our mind is only the forest areas, the dense forest areas. Even the British, they conquered India because of only the rich biodiversity that is available in our country. So India is known for its rich biodiversity. So here the hope spot refers to the rich biodiversity that is under the ocean. So here under the ocean there are so many aquatic bodies which are very very much essential. Just a simple example that we all know that the what is that? Pavalapparaigal, we say it in Tamil, Pavalapparaigal. So those thing is very, very important to maintain the ecological balance in the ocean. So it is each and every organism under the ocean is very, very important to maintain the ecological balance. So if the ecological balance breaks, then definitely it leads to eutrophication, it leads to ecological imbalance. So it is initiated, this hope spot was initiated by IUCN and Mission Blue, and Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep Islands are extremely rich in marine biodiversity. And these are said to be the two hope spots which is seen in India. So you might have get a clear idea about what is hope spot. So hotspot is a rich biodiversity. We talked about the land area, whereas hope spot talks about the rich biodiversity under the ocean, and it was initiated by IUCN and Mission Blue, and Andaman Nicobar Islands and Lakshadweep Islands. These are the two major islands which are rich marine biodiversity and are said to be two hope spots in India. Next one, the most dominant source of benzene emission in ambient air is. So, what is the main source of benzene emission? Cement industry, cigarettes, car exhaust, paints, and varnish. Any answer? Yes. Answer C is the right answer. The most dominant, Naveen has given a right answer. Most dominant sources of benzene emission in ambient air are tobacco, smoke, automobile service stations, exhaust from motor vehicles, car exhaust, and industrial emissions. So that's why the option is car exhaust, the option C. So benzene emission, most of the benzene emissions that are emitted in air are from the source of tobacco smoke, that is through tobacco smoke, automobile service stations, exhaust from motor vehicles, that is car exhaust, and industrial emissions. Option C is the right answer. And then let's move on to the next question. Which among the following is correct with reference to photosphere? So photosphere, the term itself has the meaning. Photo refers to light. Sphere refers to the layer. So photosphere, the outermost layer of Earth's atmosphere, the visible surface of the sun from where the sun radiates emission, the outer space, none of the above. Yes. Many of you have given the right answer. Yes. As I told you, photo refers to light, sphere refers to the layer. So photosphere refers to the layer in the light, light layer. It is the layer consisting of light. So here you can see visible surface of sun from which is emitted most of the sun's light that reaches Earth directly. Since the sun is so far away, the edge of the photosphere appears sharp to the naked eye, but in reality, the sun has no surface, since it is too hot for matter to exist in nothing. So, for just we are saying that it is it has like a, it is seen as a layer, but naturally there is no any layers in the sun. So you all know that sun is made up of a mass of gas. This is a mass of gas and it is made up of plasma. Mainly it consists of plasma. The major gas that is present in sun is helium and hydrogen. In addition to helium and hydrogen, the other gases are also present in the sun. The sun is the major source for light. So without sun, we cannot imagine the entire world will be dark, isn't it? There is no any specific area, but from the surface where the light is emitted and it reaches the earth directly. So we call that visible surface of the sun as photosphere. Next question. Now again I'm asked the following. Here in list 1, the pollutants are given, and in list 2, it is the effect of those pollutants are given. So let me explain you what is pollutants. Pollutants are the substances which are responsible for causing pollution. They are harmful substances. Pollutions are harmful substances which can be in any form. There are three matters, yes or no, solid, liquid, or gas. So it can be, the pollutants can be in any form of matter, but it is very dangerous, which is a positive thing for the occurrence of. Number one is ozone, second one is the arsenic, ammonia, the D one is volatile organic compounds. So let us check the answer. The ozone causes lung damage. Low ozone is known to cause lung damage and aggravate disease like asthma, chronic bronchitis. Whereas arsenic damages the red blood cells. Arsenic damages the red blood cells. So ozone causes lung damage, whereas the arsenic causes damages to the red blood cells, kidney, and also it causes jaundice. Ammonia is responsible for acidification of water bodies at higher level. So we might have heard about acid rains, yes or no? So the acids or substances which have the pH value of 4 and below. So they are called as acidic in nature, yes or no? Acidic. Um, Whereas the pH level above 7 are said to be alkaline in nature. Whereas in acid rain, the pH of acid rain will be 4 and 4 below 4. Here, ammonia is also responsible, like how nitric oxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, all these gases, they get converted into acids like nitric acid and sulfuric acid. Ammonia is also responsible for converting the water bodies into acidic in nature. So next one is the volatile organic compounds. This volatile organic compound causes smog formation. Smog formation. So the option will be ozone is lung damage, arsenic is for damaging red blood cells. So the option here is A. Okay, right, fine. Next one is which is of the following is or an example of ex-situ conservation. So let me first clear out the term what is ex-situ conservation. Ex-situ, X refers to it is external. So here the organisms are conserved in their natural habitat. So those type of conservation is called as ex situ conservation. Whereas the opposite to ex situ conservation is in situ conservation. So in situ conservation is nothing but bringing all the living organisms from their natural habitat, and it is being conserved in a particular place. That is called as in situ conservation. So when it is conserved in their natural habitat, we call it as a ex situ conservation. When we brought out from their natural habitat and we form a boundary, and when man himself made a boundary and to conserve those organisms, we call it as a in situ conservation. So what will be the answer here? Ex situ conservation is, examples for ex situ conservation is your zoological parks, botanical gardens, and wildlife safari parks. The in situ conservation, conserving and protecting the whole ecosystem. Sorry, I have explained it wrongly. See, in situ conservation is conserving and protecting the whole ecosystem in its biodiversity. In means inside. So it is being protected within their natural habitat. Whereas in ex situ, we are bringing the plant or the animal out of their habitat, and we are conserving it and we are protecting it. So here in situ example is your national parks, biosphere reserves, sanctuaries, sacred groves, all these are in situ conservation. You might have heard about this term national parks, biosphere reserves, sanctuaries, and sacred groves. So let me explain the sacred groves. Sacred groves are nothing but conserving the trees by by praying it as a god. So you might have seen many of the neem trees, no? They will treat that as a god is living in that tree, and they will they will use it as a devotional place, like a worship, like a temple. They will consider as a temple. So that is called as sacred group. This is one way conserving the plants at their own habitat. So in exeter conservation, example is zoological park, your botanical gardens, wildlife park. You might have visited Vandalore in Chennai, which is well known for zoological park and botanical gardens. In Bangalore, we have a botanical garden. In Mysore also, we have a botanical garden. So these are some of the examples for ex situ conservation. So X refers to external, in refers to internal. So in within their habitat, when we conserve it within their habitat, we call it as a in situ. When we brought all those organisms outside from their habitat, when we go for ex situ conservation means when those animals or the plants are considered to be highly threatened or in the state of extinct, or it is in a state of endangered place, we will go for ex situ conservation. Next question. Green Deal is constituted by which of the following organizations? So Green Deal is constituted by which of the following? ASEAN, USA, EU, SARC. So here, uh, the overview and key features of the European Green Deal is climate neutrality. The EU has promised to bring a law binding all member countries to ensure it becomes climate neutral by 2050. So today we are talking about the climate mitigation. Yes or no? We are talking. So it's Green Deal. Here, Green Deal refers to what? It is the climate mitigation. So bringing the climate to a neutral position. So today we are not getting rain at proper time. We are not getting proper sunlight. Everything is collapsed. We couldn't able to distinguish the seasons. It is autumn season, spring season. Likewise, we couldn't be able to distinguish because the climate has entirely changed. We couldn't able to predict when the rain comes, when we feel much warmer. We cannot able to predict. So here the EU has promised, European Green Deal, which is European country, has promised to bring a law binding all the member countries to ensure it becomes climate neutral by 2050. So within 2050, all the countries have to take initiative to overcome this climate mitigation. That was the promise made by this European Green Deal. About Green Climate Fund, the GCF. GCF was set up in 2010 under the UNFCCS financial mechanism to channel funding from developed countries to developing countries to allow them to mitigate climate change and also adapt to disruptions arising from a changing climate. So here, the funds should be channelized from the developed countries to the developing countries, because this problem is not a state problem or a particular country's problem. It is a universal problem. That's why UNFCCC has been is providing a financial fund, that is Green Climate Fund, which is being channelized from the developing countries to developing countries to take initiatives to mitigate the climate change, to bring some permanent solution or a sustainable solution for this climate change. Next, again, there is a mass of things like Nagoya Protocol, Kyoto Protocol, Montreal Protocol, Cartagena Protocol. Here the options are given. Let me go with the answer. The Montreal Protocol is an international treaty designed to protect the ozone layer by phasing out the production of numerous substances that are responsible for ozone depletion. So this Montreal Protocol was designed to protect the ozone layer. So we have to take initiatives to protect the ozone depletion. Ozone is very, very important layer, isn't it? Because ozone layer, it acts as a mask, it acts as a cover that helps us to prevent from the direct entry of UV rays. So from the sun, your ultraviolet radiation is also emitting out, but this ozone layer acts as a filter in filtering all the ultraviolet radiation. So if ultraviolet radiation reaches the Earth's surface, what happens? Definitely, it causes many carcinogenic diseases among all the living organisms. So today we are talking about ozone hole. Ozone hole is nothing but it is not a distinct hole that is made in the ozone layer. The thickness of the ozone layer is being reduced. So that's why we call it literally we are telling as ozone hole. It is not like a hole that we see. We cannot see from this end to the from one end to the other end. That is not just like that hole. Here the ozone hole refers to the uh, depletion of the ozone layer, depletion in the thickness of the ozone layer. When the thickness of the ozone layer decreases, what happens? The emission of penetration of ultraviolet radiations into the Earth's surface will increases. Naturally, it will create many health hazards, health problems among the living organisms. The next one is the Cartagena Protocol is for biosafety to the Convention on Biological Diversity, seeks to protect biological diversity from the potential risk posed by genetically modified organisms resulting from modern biotechnology. So here today, biotechnology has brought a tremendous changes in the world. Yes or no? Today we are talking about the genetically modified crops. Genetically modified crops. This genetically modified because of this genetically modified crops. What happens? These genetically modified crops we cannot preserve the seeds of those genetically modified crops for the next cultivation. So once the seeds are sown and harvested, then we cannot use the seeds of the same plant for the second cultivation. We need to go for purchase of the seeds from only for the industries, seed production industries. So those genetically modified organisms are also creating impact in the human livelihood. That's why we started moving on into our native crops, native crops. Instead of going for hybrid crops, native crops. Here today we are talking about organic vegetables which are naturally produced, and our native crops like in earlier days, you might have heard about the names of the rice crops like IR8, IR20. Nowadays we cannot be able to come across such names in the rice shop. Instead, we are getting only the genetically modified rice crops in the market. So, so we need to protect the native, our own native crops. So that is the protocol of Cartagena protocol. Next is the Nagoya protocol. Nagoya protocol on access to genetic resources and the fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from their utilization to the Convention of Biological Diversity aim for the fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising out of the utilization of genetic resources, thereby contributing to the conservation and sustainable use of biodiversity. So here, Nagoya Protocol is also talks about the genetic resources, naturally available, the genetic resources. conserving our own native species, conserving the native species, conserving the biological diversity. So biological diversity means what differences. We have a tremendous n number of organisms. Differ. Each organism is unique from each other. So here, next one is Kyoto Protocol, which is an international treaty that commits state parties to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So this protocol emphasizes to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So, pardon?
சொல்றேன் அர்ச்சனா 123318.
Next. Which of the following is not one of the biodiversity spots in India? Sometimes the question will be in the negative format. So here we have to find out the odd one out. Which of the following is not one of the biodiversity hotspots in India? As I told you, hotspots are the land areas which is rich in biodiversity. Hotspots in India. See, we have 4 hotspots. The answer is Lakshadweep Island, and we have 4 biodiversity hotspots in India. They are Western Ghats, the Himalayas, Andaman Nicobar Islands, which is a part of the Sundarland, and the Indo-Burma region. These biological hotspots in India have numerous endemic species, including 350 mammals, 1,224 birds, 197 amphibians, 408 reptiles, 2,546 fishes, and 15,000 flowering plants. So here, 4 biodiversity hotspots in India is the Western Ghats, the Himalayas, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and Indo-Burma region. So here, the option is Lakshadweep Island, which is not one of the biodiversity hotspots in India. Next question is BOD. BOD is biochemical oxygen demand or biological oxygen demand. We used to say biological oxygen demand or biochemical oxygen demand is a key indicator of the process performance of wastewater treatment. The plant is said to be efficient when BOD, whether it is increases or decreases, remains unchanged, increases for the first 36 hours. Answer please. Biochemical oxygen demand is a key indicator of the process performance of waste treatment plants. The plant is said to be effective in BOD. Option B is right. Kritika Meena. The option B is right. The biochemical oxygen demand is the amount of dissolved oxygen that is demanded by the aerobic biological organism to break down the organic material which is present in the given water sample at a certain temperature over a specific period of time. So here BOD is nothing but it is a dissolved oxygen. So here in treatment of wastewater, we use aerobic organism, aerobic biological organism. Aerobic biological organism means organism which needs oxygen to break down the organic material that is present in the wastewater sample. So here, this is called as BOD, biological oxygen demand. So it is the oxygen, dissolved oxygen in the wastewater that is demanded by the aerobic biological organism to break down the organic materials that is present in the water sample. Here, the biological oxygen demand is used to assess the overall degree of water pollution in a source of water. If you check the BOD, you can assess the degree of water pollution in the source of water. So how the higher the BOD, it indicates more oxygen is required and signifies lower water quality. It is inversely, when the BOD is low, means it needs less oxygen. Less oxygen is getting removed from the water. Therefore, the water is purer. So if the BOD is higher, then the water quality is said to be worst. When the BOD of the water is low, then the water is said to be pure water. More BOD will indicate more rapidly oxygen is getting depleted in the stream. This means less oxygen will remain available to the higher forms of aquatic life. So if what happens if the oxygen level decreases, naturally the the aquatic organisms will start dying out. Hence, the plant is said to be efficient when BOD decreases. That's why the option is C is right answer. So it is decreases. So the plant is said to be efficient when BOD decreases. So lower the BOD, the water will be purer. When water is in the purer form, what happens naturally, the plant, the other organisms can be able to survive better. So when BOD is lesser, it's said to be it is not highly polluted. Water is not highly polluted. When water is highly polluted, it becomes unfit for the other organisms to grow. Next, Disaster Management Act. Disaster Management Act came into existence in the year came into existence in the year 2005. Disaster Management Act came into existence in the year 2005. So it aims to manage disaster, including preparation of mitigation strategies, building capacity, and more. The Act also designates our Ministry of Home Affairs as the nodal ministry responsible for looking at the overall national disaster management in the country. The main focus of this act is to provide assistance. So assistance, help to the people who are affected by the disasters and help them restore their life back to normal conditions. So this act has came into existence in the year 2005. So disasters, natural disasters are unpredictable. Even recently we have heard about the flood in Chennai. See, the entire life of people is being disturbed, yes or not. So their livelihood is highly spoiled. People even not able to get drinking water, enough food, not proper shelter. If water gets into all the houses, what will they do? So naturally, their normal life is getting disturbed, yes or not. So this Disaster Management Act was being mainly an assertion is given. Agricultural expansion continues to be the main driver of deforestation. The reason is pollution explosion has put pressure on agriculture for food security. What will be the answer? So since it's almost 8, let me move a little bit faster because I have more number of slides. You can also make a note of it. Even I can share this PPT with the coordinators. They will also share it with you. The answer is agricultural expansion continues to be the main driver of deforestation. And it's due to increase in population that food security has become important factor for agricultural expansion. So both are right. The statement is also right, and the reason for the statement is absolutely correct. Because we know, because of agricultural expansion, we have exploited the forest areas. So here the forest areas has been reduced. We have cutted the trees in the forest, and we have reduced the density of the forest area. So not only because of we are cutting the trees only for the expansion of agriculture, because of commercial purpose, for making economy. We are because of the over population explosion, the land expansion of the land areas. For all these purpose, we have done deforestation. So naturally, what happened? The we are increasing the expansion of the agricultural area, decreases the forest area. It is one part. The other part, the increase in population makes us to expand the agricultural area. So it becomes an important factor. The increase in population explosion and the keeping the concept of food security in the mind, the agricultural expansion has become a drive for reforestation. The next one is hazardous waste and their characteristic feature. So ignitable, corrosive, reactive, toxic. In this side, it is very unstable, causes serious health issues, destroy containers, able to sustain combustion. See, hazardous waste is a waste that has potential threats. Hazardous means dangerous. Those waste which are very dangerous, which create many health issue problems, or which create many environmental issues. Those waste are called as hazardous waste. The characteristics of the hazardous waste is ignitable, means able to sustain combustion. They are substances which are able to sustain combustion. Corrosive, corrosive, it destroys the containers. It destroys the containers. Reactive, reactive in the sense they will be always very unstable. In the very first second question, I think so, we were discussing about the carbon dioxide that is emitted by the biomass fuel. Yes or no? So it is stable. It is the carbon neutral energy source. It is stable. When it becomes unstable, it will be reactive. It creates subsequent chemical processes in the environment. Next one is toxic. When it is toxic, it causes very serious health issues. So the option C is the right answer for this question. The next one is toxic chemicals often injure organs as well as organ systems. Hepatotoxins are chemicals that can damage kidneys. In the light of the above statement, choose the most appropriate answer from the options given below. Here, toxic, both the statement 1 and 2 are correct. Both statement 1 and 2 are incorrect. And statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is incorrect. Statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is correct. The option C is the right answer. Option C is the right answer, where statement 1 is correct, but the statement 2 is incorrect. Toxic chemicals often injure organs as well as organs, and that is true. Toxic chemicals means poisonous substance. Definitely, it brings some health issues. Health issues in the sense it damages our organ. If an organ gets damaged, the entire organ system will also get damaged. So organ refers to, for example, kidney is an organ. So the kidney, the ureter, the urinary bladder, urethra, all these constitute the organ system. If at one point any injuries happen, what happened? It will affect the entire organ system. So toxic chemicals can affect any systems in the body, like respiratory, digestive, circulatory, nervous, and reproductive, even reproductive system. So the statement which is given is correct. But the statement 2, what is given, it is hepatotoxins or chemicals that can damage kidney. So hepato refers to the term liver. It is refers to liver. Nephro refers to kidney. So the toxins that cause damage to kidneys are called as nephrotoxins. Nephrons, you might have heard the term nephrons. Nephrons are the structural and functional unit of the excretory system. Structural and functional unit of the excretory system, which involves in the filtration process. It filters all the unwanted waste materials and excreted out from the outside the body as urine. So hepato refers to liver hepatitis. You might have heard about hepatitis, which is the inflammation that has been occurred due to the occurrence of jaundice. Hepatology, study of liver, study about the liver. So hepatotoxins are chemicals that can damage kidney is the wrong statement. Hepatotoxins are toxic chemicals that can cause injuries to the in the liver. Nephrotoxins are chemicals which causes damage to the kidney. Next one is the practice of growing different crops on the same piece of land at the same time is called the practice of growing different crops. Underline the word, it is growing of different crops on the same piece of land at the same time. It is called what? Intercropping. So it is cultivating two or more that is different crops at the same time in the same piece of land. So intercropping is the practice of growing different crops on the same piece of land at the same time. So under strip cropping, crops are cultivated in alternate strips parallel to each other on the same piece of land. Strip cropping refers to crops are cultivated in alternative strips which are parallel to each other on the same piece of land. Next, Convention on Biodiversity was signed during which conference? It is during the Earth Summit, Rio de Janeiro. Earth Summit at Rio de Janeiro in the year 1992. Convention on Biodiversity was signed during Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro. The United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, better known as the Earth Summit, was held in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil in the year 1992 on from June 3rd to 14th. So the Earth Summit has mainly known on climate change, the Convention of Biological Diversity, the Declaration on the Principles of Forest Management, and the creation of the Commission on Sustainable Development. The Convention of Biological Diversity came into force on 29th December 1993. The conference was held in the year 1992. These are the notable achievements of the conference. What are the achievements? The declaration on the principles of forest management, creation of the Commission on Sustainable Development. So here in 1993, December 29th, three main Convention on Biodiversity came into force with the three main objectives. One is the Convention on Conservation of Biological Diversity. The second one is sustainable use of components of biological diversity. Third one is the fair and equitable sharing of the benefits arising out of the utilization of the genetic resources. These are the three main objectives of Convention of Biological Diversity. It has been signed during the Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro, which held in Brazil from 3rd to 14th June 1992. But it came into force, that is, came into action on 29th December 1993, covering three major objectives. Wait a minute, let me show. The practice of growing different crops on the same piece of land at the same time is called as intercropping. So the intra-cropping cannot be possible. So intra means within. Okay, so here we are practicing strip cropping and intercropping. Intercropping means growing the different crops on the same piece of. Taking a piece of land, cultivating tomatoes in one rows and the other like brinjal, onion, all different types of crops are cultivated in the same piece of land at the same time. That is called as intercropping. Whereas strip cropping is crops are cultivated in alternate strips parallel to each other. So here we are cultivating in a strip. So one crop in one strip, the other crop in the next strip, or both the strips will be parallel to each other, which is also on the same piece of land. So here intercropping, one crop is tomato, the other one is the next another crop, the next tomato, next one next brinjal, tomato, brinjal. Likewise, if they cultivate, then it is called as intercropping. If in case of cultivating a row of brinjal in one side, the row next to the next row will be tomatoes. Like that, it will be parallel to each other in a form of a strip. That we call it as a strip cropping. So the answer is intercropping is the right answer for this question. Next, let us move on to the Kyoto Protocol, Montreal Protocol, Paris Agreement, International Solar Alliance. So here the options are given. Let us go to the detailed description. The Kyoto Protocol was adopted as the international treaty that committed its signatories to develop national programs to reduce their emissions of greenhouse gases. So that it had the aim of a clean development mechanism. The Kyoto Protocol was adopted in Kyoto, Japan on 11th December 1997 and it is came into force on 16th February 2005. See how long it took. See, it has been adopted in the year 1997, but the Kyoto Protocol came into force only in 2005. Next, Montreal Protocol is also an international treaty to protect the ozone layer by phasing out the production of numerous substances which is responsible for ozone depletion. It was agreed on 16th September 1987 and it entered into force on January 1989. Similarly, the Paris Agreement is an international treaty on climate change. So here Kyoto Protocol is for reducing the emission of greenhouse gas. Montreal Protocol is for reducing the ozone depletion. Paris Agreement is for climate change mitigation, adaptation and finance, which was drafted in the year 2015 and it was signed in 2016. The International Solar Alliance is formed in 2015 as the primary objective to work for efficient consumption of solar energy to reduce dependence on fossil fuels. Why? Because the fossil fuels are non-renewable resources. So non-renewable resources are resources when we use, what happens, the amount of those resources in nature will get depleted, gradually get reduced. Whereas renewable resources are occur in nature, which are abundant in nature, which can be reused, which cannot be depleted, which is not depleted. It can be available available for human continuously. So here International Solar Alliance is formed in the year 2015, emphasizing that we have to go for more consumption of solar energy in order to reduce the fossil fuels like petrols and coal, petrol and other products. Which of the following is the study of the climate change history of Earth? Climate change history of Earth. The study of climate change history of Earth. Tropical climatology, scientific climatology, paleoclimatology, applied climatology. The answer is C, which is paleoclimatology. So paleoclimatology is the study of previous climate of the Earth that existed during different geological age. Paleontology, you might have heard about geological time scale. How the organisms origin you can see in the geological system. So here the paleoclimatology refers to the study of previous climate, how the Earth was before, how the Earth was in 17th century, how the earth was in the 16th century, how the earth was in millions and millions of years ago, before. Those studies refers to the paleoclimatology. It helps in distinguish the change in pattern of climate over the years. So it helps us how the climatic changes has happened, what kind of a climate pattern that we had earlier, and what climate pattern are in the present year. So it helps us to understand the reality of the climate change in the world. So here it uses data from ice sheets, tree rings, sediments, coral reefs, etc. So here paleoclimatology refers to the previous climate of Earth. So which of the following is the study of climate change, history of Earth? Previous means what? History refers to the past changes that occurred in the Earth. So that is paleoclimatology. Next one is a non-renewable energy resource that cannot be reproduced, grown, generated, or used on a scale that can sustain its consumption rate. What about the statement 2? Is fossil fuels are known as non-renewable energy resources. Non-renewable energy resource that cannot be reproduced, grown, generated, or used on a scale that can sustain its consumption rate. Fossil fuels are known as non-renewable energy resources. Yes, your answer C is correct. Both the statements are correct. Just now I told you, non-renewable resources are cannot be generated, it cannot be reproduced. Once it is consumed, that's all. Its level will be depleted. So a very good example for a non-renewable resources is fossil fuels. Right. So both the statements are correct. Here, next one is, it can be done very swiftly to shift from fossil fuels to renewable energy resources completely. The market is well developed for trading fossil fuels, and our conventional infrastructure and transport systems fitted with combustion engines remain prominent. So, what is the answer? The statement is wrong, but the reason is correct. The assertion statement is not correct, as it supports that the transition from fossil fuels to renewable source would be shifted. Fossil fuel use and infrastructure are already well developed, and that makes it hard to swiftly shift between the two. It would take considerable time. As renewable energy source like solar and wind are expensive for common people, and they need technical expertise. So these new energy resources need an ample amount of time to replace fossil fuels from the current market. So what happened? We are fit into that, yes or no? So we are very comfortable in using petrol, diesel, cars like that, yes or no? So we need to move into even the electricity that we are using. We need to move into the renewable resources like using of solar lamps, solar lights, solar cookers. So like that, we have to move into the renewable resource. You utilize renewable energy resources. So the reason what is given is the reason statement is correct, as it said that the market is well developed for trading fossil fuels. That's true. So the market is well developed for trading fossil fuels, and our conventional infrastructure and transport system fitted with the combustion engines remain prominent. It is so because people are using fossil fuels for a long time. Now it has demand in the market. See, that way, because of the demand only, the price of petrol and diesel are today is increasing at a very faster rate. So we have to switch, we have to adapt ourselves to use the renewable energies like solar and wind, which are very cost effective, which can be easily available to a common layman. Which of the following is commonly produced from biological matter through fermentation process? Which of the following is commonly produced by biological matter through fermentation process? You know, fermentation. Fermentation is process which was mediated by yeast, yes or no, yeast or any other bacteria. Fermentation process. A simple process is converting our batter into fluffy idli batter, yes or no? Converting milk into curd, milk into cheese and other milk products. So here the option is D is the right answer. Many of you have answered B is the right answer. Most methanol is produced from natural gas, although it can be produced from biomass using very similar chemical processes. Ethanol is commonly produced from biological material through fermentation process. So answer B, ethanol is the right answer. So the fermentation during fermentation process, ethanol is produced. Ethanol is produced, whereas methanol is produced from natural gas. From natural gas. So ethanol is commonly produced from biological material through fermentation process. Next, again a two statement. Statement one is biodiesel is a form of diesel fuel derived from plants or animals and consisting of long chain fatty acid esters. Whereas statement two, biodiesel blends cannot be used as heating oil, which is the right answer. Biodiesel, you might have heard about Jatropha curcus. So researchers are still going on how to obtain diesel from plant product, biodiesel. Biodiesel is a form of a diesel fuel. The statement one is actually right, and statement two is wrong. So biodiesel blends cannot be used as heating oil is the wrong statement. Let us see what is the right reason. Biodiesel is a form of diesel fuel derived from plants or animals and consisting of long chain fatty acid esters. It is typically made by chemically reacting lipids such as animal fat, soybean oil, or some other vegetable oil with alcohol, producing a methyl, ethyl, or propyl ester. Unlike the vegetable and waste oils used to fuel converted diesel engines, biodiesel is a drop-in biofuel, meaning it is compatible with existing diesel engines and distribution infrastructure. However, it is usually blended with petrodiesel. Since most engines cannot run or pure biodiesel without modification, biodiesel blends can also be used as heating oil. Statement 2 is given as it cannot be used as heating oil, but it can be used as a heating oil is the right answer for the statement 1. But this biodiesel is a diesel which is produced out of a living product. So, but still now we cannot able to adapt into the biodiesel because we need to modify the engines. Now only we have moved to battery cars, yes or no? So instead of using petrol and diesel, we have moved into battery cars. Even these battery cars also in future will bring many environmental issues like production of more number of e-waste in the environment and other things. And whereas biodiesel will help us to reduce the pollution control, but see to that the engines in the automobiles is not designed in such a way to run with the help of a biodiesel. So researchers are going on to use biodiesel in an effective manner. Which of the following methods would be most appropriate in reducing acid rain and acid deposit problems? Adding lime of the acidic lake, reducing the use of fossil fuels, promotion of acid resistant crops, increasing the height of smokestacks. Which of the following methods would be most appropriate in reducing acid rain and acid deposition problems? Option D is the right answer. Good. A great way to reduce acid rain is to produce energy without using fossil fuel. Acid rain is a form of precipitation that contains acidic particles. Just now I told you nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide get mixed up in the water and it converts into what happens. Nitric acid and sulfuric acid are formed. So when it falls on the earth, it causes drastic health issues among all the living organisms. So acid rain causes harm to forest. When acid rain falls into the river, it affects the ecosystem. Renewable energy helps reduces acid rain because it produces much less pollution. So renewable energy example that we have studied is solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy. These are some of the renewable energies that can be used to reduce the acid rain. So acid rain is mainly produced because of the use of energy from the fossil fuels. Which of the following gases initiates a chain reaction that breaks down ozone in the upper atmosphere? Which of the following gas initiates a chain reaction that breaks down ozone in the upper atmosphere? Which is nothing but the chlorine. When chlorine and bromine atoms come into contact with ozone in the stratosphere, they destroy the ozone molecules. This is what happening. Mainly the ozone depletion is mainly due to the emission of chlorine and bromine compounds. Which of the following is the biological method of disposal of municipal solid waste? Which of the following is the biological method of disposal of municipal solid waste? So every municipality corporation is collecting the solid waste from the domestic areas. And which will be the best biological method of disposal of municipal solid waste? Composting. So composting is the biological process in which the organic portion of refuse is allowed to decompose under carefully controlled conditions. The microbes metabolize the organic waste material and reduce its volume by as much as 50%. It produces humus-like material which is a good fertilizer for plants. In earlier days, most of the municipalities they have gone for only land filling, but now government has taken initiatives to go for composting. So composting, when you go for composting means decomposing the waste materials. So that way the government is insisting us to segregate the waste as degradable and non-degradable. So all the degradable wastes are taken into the compost area where it is being degraded by the microorganisms and the toxicity is being reduced as much as 50% to 50%, half of the into half, and it is converted as a humus. Humus is nothing but a rich, fertile fertilizers which can be used for agricultural practice. Government is also giving the fertilizers for the farmers at a free of cost. Next, Parivesh is a single window hub for environment, forest, wildlife, and CRZ clearances. Parivesh provides single registration and single sign in for all types of clearances. Let us see what is Parivesh. Parivesh is proactive and responsive facilitation by interactive and virtuous and environment. A single window hub is a single window hub for environment, forest, wildlife, and CRZ clearances. Here, Parivesh is a workflow-based application which provides single registration and single sign in for all types of clearances: environment, forest, wildlife, and CRZ clearances. Next one is the following pathogens in water and the diseases they cause. Virus, bacteria, protozoa, helminths. Helminths is a parasitic worm. Virus causes hepatitis. Hepatitis is caused by virus. Cholera is caused by bacteria. Dysentery is caused by a protozoa. Schistosomiasis is related to helminths, parasitic worm. Hepatitis means jaundice. Jaundice is caused by a virus, hepatitis virus, and bacteria causes cholera disease, and protozoans like amoeba causes dysentery, and schistosomiasis is related to helminthasis. India has huge thorium reserve, a potential source of nuclear energy. This thorium reserve is mainly confined in the rock of Chota Nagpur Plateau, muds of Sundarban Delta, coastal sands of Kerala Sea, sands of Thar Desert. Option C, coastal sands of Kerala Sea. Thorium is found in small amount in most rocks and soils. Thorium concentration near the surface of the earth can be mapped using gamma spectroscopy. So, just I'm giving additional information for those questions. The known reserves of thorium in India are estimated to be between 4,57,000 and 5,08,000 tons. Kerala, Jharkhand, Bihar, Tamil Nadu, and Rajasthan are the major sources for thorium. So here Kerala, Jharkhand, Bihar, Tamil Nadu, and Rajasthan. So first is Kerala. So here it is available in small amounts in most of the rocks and the soil. So how we can identify whether the rock or the soil has thorium concentration? It can be identified by using gamma spectroscopy. Next, statement 1. Diesel vehicles emit excessive amount of oxides of nitrogen and fine particulate matter. The diesel engines run with rich mixtures having high air to fuel ratio. Let us see what is right and what. So option C is correct. That is, statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is incorrect. Let us see what is the reason for that. Diesel engines contribute to the problem by releasing particulates directly into the air and by emitting nitrogen oxides and sulfur oxides, which transform into secondary particulates in the atmosphere. Air fuel ratio is the mass ratio of air to a solid, liquid, or gaseous fuel present in a combustion process. The ideal air fuel ratio for complete combustion is called stoichiometric air fuel ratio. For a gasoline, that is petrol engine, the stoichiometric air fuel ratio is 14.7:1. This means that in order to burn completely 1 kg of fuel, we need 14.7 kg of air. And to burn 1 kg of diesel fuel, we need 14.5 kg of air. So when air to fuel ratio is low, then stoichiometric ratio, air to fuel ratio is rich. When air to fuel ratio is high, then stoichiometric ratio, air to fuel ratio is lean. The diesel engine runs with lean mixtures having high air to fuel ratio. Similarly, another question, solar pond is a solar energy collector pond. The solar energy collected in solar pond is due to salt water gradient. Solar pond is a solar energy collector pond. The solar energy collected in solar pond is due to salt water gradient. A solar pond is a pool of salt water which collects and stores solar thermal energy. The salt water naturally forms a vertical salinity gradient, which is also known as calocline, in which low salinity water floats on the top of high salinity water. Hence, both the statements are correct. A solar pond is a pool of salt water, which collects and stores solar thermal energy. The salt water naturally forms a vertical salinity gradient, which is also known as halocline, in which low salinity water floats on top of high salinity water. Hope you understand. The only UN treaty related to environmental issues which has been ratified by all 198 UN member states is the only UN treaty related to environmental issues which has been ratified by all 198 UN member states is option A, Montreal Protocol. Right. Many of you have given right answer. Option A, Montreal Protocol. Montreal, adopted on 15th September 1987. The Montreal Protocol is to date the only UN treaty even that has been ratified every country on earth. All 198 UN member states. The Montreal Protocol and substance that depletes the ozone layer, regulates the production and consumption of nearly 100 man-made chemicals referred to as ozone depleting substances. So, next one is identify the primary air pollutant among the following. Identify the primary air pollutant among the following. Ozone, black carbon, aerosol, sulfonate aerosol, peroxyacetyl nitrate. Option B is right answer. Primary air pollutants. Material that when released pose health risk in their unmodified form or those emitted directly from identifiable sources. These are carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitroxide, nitrogen dioxide, black carbon aerosols, most hydrocarbons and most suspended particles. So these are the primary air pollutants. Carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrous oxide, nitrogen dioxide, black carbon aerosols, and most hydrocarbons and suspended particles comes under the primary air pollutants. So why we call it as a primary air pollutant means it is the one which brings direct health risk, which is emitted directly from the identifiable sources. Secondary air pollutants are pollutants produced by the primary pollutants. When primary pollutants interact with the yet another compound, what happens? It leads to the secondary air pollutants. Another compounds like with one another or with sunlight or natural gas, it produces new harmful compounds. Examples for secondary air pollutants are sulfur trioxide, nitrogen trioxide, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen peroxide, and most nitrates and sulfates. These are some of the examples of secondary air pollutants. Next, another map of play is given. Histosols, andisols, gelisols, aridisols. Let us see what are all these things. Histosols. Histosols are soils formed from dead and decaying organic matter. It comprises of peaty soil with a deep surface layer of purely organic material. Whereas andisols are formed in volcanic ash and defined as soil containing high proportion of glass and amorphous colloidal material. We call andisols as andosols. And the other name of andisols is andosols. Gelisols. Gelisols are soils of very cold climates, which are defined as containing permafrost within 2 meters of the soil surface. Aridisols are formed in the arid or semi-arid climate. Aridisols dominate the desert and xeric shrublands. So, the option A is the correct answer. Histosols is soil order consisting of soils with the thick upper layer of organic matter. Andisols are soil order that includes soil formed on volcanic ash. Gelisols is the soil order of cold regions, including soils underlined by permafrost. Aridisols are soil order consisting of soils of dry climates, arid climates or dry climates, semi-arid climates. As per provisions of Paris Agreement, the intended nationally determined contributions are to be reviewed every 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, 3 years. As per the provisions of Paris Agreement, the intended nationally determined contributions are to be reviewed every 5 years. Countries across the globe adopted an historic international climate agreement at the UN framework. Convention on Climate Change, Parties, Conference of the Parties in Paris in December 2015. Under the provisions of the Paris Agreement, countries will be expected to submit an updated NDC every 5 years, which will represent a progression beyond the country, then current NDC to reflect its highest possible ambition. So, as per Paris Agreement, the INDC is to be reviewed every 5 years. Which of the following pairs is or incorrect? Primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers. Insects, grasshoppers, termites, and hummingbirds. Secondary consumers, frog and reptiles. Tertiary consumers, tiger, lion, leopard, and vultures. Yes, all the options are correct. Option D is the answer. Primary consumers are here the words. You might have studied about the producers and consumers. Producers are the plants. Plants are the primary producers. Whereas consumers are organisms which eat on the producers. So here we can classify the consumers into three. One is primary, secondary, and tertiary. And the organisms that eat the primary consumers are called the secondary consumers. Tertiary consumers are the animals that consume other animals to obtain nutrition from them. Most importantly, they are the highest level of the food chain. They are called as the apex predators. So the options, all the three options are right. Next, particulate matter. Particulate matter is solid particles and liquid drops that can cause the most damage to human health when the molecules are smaller than 10 microns. When the is smaller than 10 microns. Particulate matter can cause the most damage to human health when the molecules are smaller than 10 microns. Particles fewer than 10 microns in diameter are the most dangerous because they can easily lodge deep in person's lungs. Particles more than 10 microns do not usually reach a person's lungs but can cause irritation in eyes, nose, and throat. That's why option B is the right answer. So, if the particles are less than 10 micrometers, then easily it will bring the damage to the human health. So it is almost time, and let me stop my presentation. So we have discussed some of the important areas of.
Thank you, madam.
Ma'am, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your elaborate and detailed explanations in the unit people and development of environment. And people, if you have any doubt, you can ask to the madam. Okay, if it is not means you can give a put up some thumbs up also. Okay, so now I'm going to official what are thanks for this session unit 9. Ma'am, thank you and immensely for the outstanding sessions of the unit and people development and environment. So you profound insights into the subject matter and coupled with your engaging interactions and very good styles to the participants to interact with a very good manner, and truly the sessions and remarkable. So that participants were eager to engage, ask questions, and provide answer, which is a testament of to your ability to and stimulating and inclusive learning environment. Your expertise and passion for the topic shown through the demonstrating the quality akin to those of dedicated environmentalist. So your effectiveness in delivering the content and inspiring active participations was evident. So once again, we extend our heartfelt thank you and gratitude for your invaluable contributions for the session UGC Net and Set free coaching center free training session on the memorable of Dr. R. Viswanathan. Once again, on the behalf of the participant and the organizing team, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you to all participants for your vibrant interaction with the in the session. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Thank you. Definitely, some of you have asked the PPT. Definitely, I share my PPT with the coordinator. You will get the PPT and just I have given a glimpse alone, but still more we have to go for some more references so that we can able to get a deep insight in this particular concept. So thank you once again for all the participants and the professor for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Communications, the expert from Ms. T. Ajita, Amilda Academy. He was a trainer who trained the students in the field of UGC, NET, SET, and TRB, TET also. The student of Dr. R. Viswanathan also. That is the proud moment of tomorrow sessions, and we welcome you all for the tomorrow sessions. Meeting is officially sign off. Good night.